Manchester United beat Southampton 3-0. Join me for the review and the lead up to Barnsley in the Carabao Cup clash on Tuesday night at Old Trafford. This is Manchester United, the D Unit's view, and I am the D Unit. Now, Saturday, thankfully, my bad feeling that was what I thought it was going to be, 1-0 loss or 1-0 draw, didn't come to fruition. We actually, 3-0 was a pretty decent result in the end, and it probably reflected the fact that United, after the first 20 minutes, half an hour or so, actually got to grips with the game and ended up walking away with it fairly easily, it has to be said. Now, it wasn't as easy as it did look, because 30 minutes into the game, Diego Dalot, who, let's face it, had an absolutely torrid first 45 minutes of this game. He is so lucky that he got booked, he conceded a penalty, and he just didn't look like he was at the races at all. It was hard to... It just looked like he was a fish out of water. He looked like he was a yard off the pace, and he looked like he really wanted to be back on the right-hand side rather than the left. But thankfully, it didn't cost us in the end. Now, this is one of them classic sliding doors moment, because I tell you what, when he conceded the penalty, I was like going, oh, here we go. The 1-0 that I was talking about, this could have been it. But Cameron Archer, he must have either been... he just had a mare from the penalty spot. That was one of the worst penalty takes I've seen in quite a while in the Premier League. He literally just hit it, and if Andre Onana didn't happen to save it, it would have been disappointing because it was that poorly hit. And then the follow-up was just as kind. He literally just looped it into the air, and Onana got the easy double save. It was great for anyone that had Onana in fantasy because, look, clean sheet, saved penalty. What more could you ask? I think he ended up on like 13, 15 points, something like that. And yeah, obviously, look, the first half an hour was really rocky. I think at one point Southampton had up to 70% possession, which is they are the highest possession team behind Man City so far this season. Now, the game definitely turned. It was one of them sliding doors moment. Literally 2 minutes after Man United conceded that penalty and Onana saved it, we went down the other end. Bruno Fernandes floats in a ball for another excellent assist, and Matthias de Ligt put his Netherlands worries behind, and he just sent it home. It was a brilliant goal. Absolutely brilliant headed goal. There was no stopping it. It was right in the corner. It was like one of them perfect headers that you'd get from like a true centre forward, just back across the goal and into the net. They're impossible to like defend and stop, especially if you've got the placement just right. And he actually put in a magnificent shift. And yeah, he must have been so glad to be back there. And it was good to see Ten Hag keep the faith of the back four that we've been playing, because yeah, look, they all played really well, other than Dalot, particularly the first half an hour. He was not at the races, but the other three were brilliant and all had at least 6 or 7 out of 10 games. Mazraoui, again, he looks... Mate, I'm telling you, if that guy had been in the Premier League prior to this season, there's no way United would have got him for 15 mil. Like, he has looked quality out there on the right-hand side. And Amad and him working together, they look really good. And it was just a really... Post that moment, United obviously got the second one very quickly. Amad got an assist. Great to see him get an assist, and he definitely deserved to get an assist. He actually created 6 chances in this game, which I've been saying all season. I really wanted to give him a go, and I was so glad that he got picked from the start. And his work off the ball is fantastic as well. He actually made the most tackles, 3, in the game for United, and he won over half of his ground duels, which is absolutely fantastic for a player that you have in the team for his attacking contributions. There's a reason why Ten Hag has obviously told him to go away and work on his defensive craft, and he's definitely done that, and he's bringing that to the games as well, which is fantastic to see. I was also very happy because Amad happens to be in my fantasy team, so I was slightly gutted he didn't get more than 1 assist, because he did create some amazing chances for the forwards, and I felt like if Xerxes particularly had been a little bit more clinical, this game could have been even more comfortable than 3-0. And he is actually the youngest player to create 6 chances since Anthony Martial did in 2016 against Stoke City in February. So there's a stat for you. So that's how good Amad's been playing, and he did look good. He passed the eye test, and I'm hoping that cements his position. Now, the rest of the team, post that first 30 minutes, obviously we got the double quick goal, I think it was 35 minutes, and then 42 minutes, the second goal went in. No, 41 minutes. So within 6 minutes, we scored twice. That pretty much put the game to bed at half-time. And then the second half, well, we were slightly fortunate when Garnacho came on for Rashford, and I was glad to see that it was Rashford that came off for Garnacho, because I think that, Rashford scored his goal. Good on you. We need more of that. We need that week in, week out. And hopefully that is a sign of things to come for him. Hopefully now he's got one up and running, he will hopefully kick on. We can only hope. But it was great to see him on the score sheet, and Garnacho came on. And then obviously Southampton thought that we just want to make this nice and comfortable for Ten Hag to see out the rest of the afternoon. And their captain, Stevens, I don't know what he was doing. He's gone in super rash. He's tried to, he knows that Garnacho's away and going to goal, but he's got him too high, caught him above the point on the leg where the ref thought that was acceptable, and he got shown a red card. VAR didn't intervene, didn't see it as something that needed to be reversed. So we played the last 10 minutes of the game with 10 against 10 men, which was fantastic. I think the one disappointing thing is, yes, we scored another goal, and Casemiro played a really good part. It was good to see him come on and get involved, and not ideal that he came on to play at centre-back, and we'll get to that in a second. But it was great to see him come on and, get involved in the play. Didn't look out of place. He actually played the pass that created the assist of the assist. So he played it to Dalot, who then cut it back to Garnacho, who then finished. It was a great ball from Casemiro, great vision, and that's probably what he needs to be doing more of in the future. And yeah, so there was lots of positives to take out of this game, but it's interesting. It's one of the moments where if that penalty had gone in, would this game have gone differently? And it's hard to know, because United don't do well, especially away from home, when they go a goal behind. So look, that save from Onana, even though it was a pretty comfortable one, definitely helped get us into the game and give us the foothold that we needed in order to get in and, establish ourselves. And then we were lucky. Literally, that must have been such a gutting moment for Southampton fans, thinking you're going to score, take the lead, and then 2 minutes later you're behind. It's gutting. That's what it is. But it was great for us. So, look, that was fantastic. Now, plenty of positives to take out of this game. Now, obviously, it was only against Southampton, and we all know that they look destined to go back down. Let's be honest. There's no being nice about it. They look like a team that's been promoted and is a team that is likely to go straight back down like the last ones from last year. I can't see them staying up. They don't have enough quality in their squad in order to stay up. And as I said before, anything other than a victory here would have completely amplified the pressure on Ten Hag. And I think I'm just very glad that hasn't happened. Like that we've actually won the game, and he's hopefully going to have a relatively easy week, because not easy week, but a week where he can just crack on and hopefully get some results, because football is a results-based business, and this game was purely about getting the result that we needed. It was great to see. So look, what are the positives? The defence played pretty well again. For even the first half an hour when Southampton were dominating the ball, Southampton didn't actually make that many opportunities. So the stats broke down like this. We ended up with 55.8% possession, probably attributed to the last 10 minutes where we literally just had the ball because we were playing with an extra man. We made 611 passes to Southampton's 480. We had 20 shots to Southampton's 6. 7 corners for United, none for Southampton. So that's a sign that the defenders are actually defending well and not allowing them. So look, the percentage shot-wise was actually pretty good as well. 76% of our shots were on target, so that's really good as well. And we actually blocked one of the Southampton shots. So one of the 5 shots we actually blocked. Disappointing, though, that 4 of Southampton's 6 shots on target were... 6 shots, 4 of them were on target. So that was slightly disappointing. Now, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, because I need to be able to get this out to more viewers. And if you're listening on audio, please rate the show so I can also continue getting this on to other people as well. Now, the other positives from this game. the midfield, with complete selection surprise seeing Ericsson start there. I did not see that happening at all. And look, he did all right. He wasn't fantastic, but he was tidy with the ball. And in the second half, he looked better than he did in the first. Well, everyone did after we got a goal. The game really started to settle. Manuel Ugarte came on for the last 20 minutes and was absolutely fantastic. I think he made 13 passes and all of them reached their destination, which is fantastic. So Ten Hag was really good. This is what he said about him. It's good that we could bring him in and he shows us straight what he brings. So he did. He keeps the game going, links us back and forward. So I think the first impressions were very good. And I'd agree. He looked pretty good. He touched the ball 17 times as well. And every tackle he went in for, he won. In fact, there was a brilliant moment where a Southampton player had the ball and he just nicked in and won the ball. And away we went back forward. So look, hopefully he's going to get some more minutes. Carabao Cup, I hope to see him feature maybe from the start, maybe 45 minutes. And then hopefully against Crystal Palace, where we're going to need to definitely up the ante a bit more next weekend when we travel away. Hopefully he's in from the start because that's ideally what needs to be happening there. Garnacho, Amad, Rashford, they all either got a goal or an assist. So Rashford got a goal, Amad got an assist, Garnacho came on and scored a goal. So look, unfortunately for Garnacho, I think that potentially in the Premier League, at least for the next couple of games, he's probably going to be starting on the bench. Because now that Rashford's got a goal, I think you want to keep him in the team, even though in my head I'm like going, Garnacho probably does deserve to start. And I think he does. But I think now that Rashford scored, you've got to try and back him in and try and get him on that burst. Because when Rashford's scoring, he normally scores in bursts. So he scored now, so hopefully he can get a few more. And we just ride the wave of that. Amad, as I said before, absolutely fantastic. I thought that he was our best attacking player on the day. And Garnacho, when he came on, clinical. He always looks like he's going to score a goal from the bench, which makes him the perfect super sub. Of the three to bring on, he's the one that you would want to bring on as a sub because he always seems to have an impact when you bring him on from the bench. The other two, Rashford always looks like he's sulking a bit when he started on the bench. And Amad, I think he's still a bit too raw, but he looks better. He's got the fitness as well. And he's got the working ability to work back and track back. And that was on evident display numerous times in that game. Now, the negatives, there were some. And Xerxes, he had another two great chances. And really, he should be putting those ones away. He had two really good looks. I'm not sure what his XG ended up being like, but it would have been well over 1. And yeah, look, he's just got to be a little bit more clinical with those kind of finishes. You've got to put those ones away when they're gifted to you on a silver platter by your teammates. The last thing you can do is, the worst thing you can do is miss or not convert them. And like in a closer game, that's going to cost you. So he needs to try and, Rude needs to sit there and settle him down and go, look, just put it away, mate. Like, be a bit more clinical. Just practice the shooting. The other negative, the injuries are back. I'm not even kidding. The injuries are back. So we actually changed 3 of our 4 defenders in this game. Can you believe that? Just let that sink in. So first off, Mazraoui went off injured. Now, it looked to me, and Ten Hag couldn't really provide an update on his one per se at the end of the game, but he did say that, internationals and cramp and other things or whatever, but they all had to be substituted for injuries or because they were worried about them. So that's never a good sign. So Mazraoui, what looked like to me at the end of the game, could barely walk. He definitely had a massive limp. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a hamstring. Let's hope it's not, because he's been fantastic, and that's the last thing you need is at a new club is to sit there, start really well, and then get an injury, and then you're out for 3 or 4 games. So hopefully it's nothing too bad. The club hasn't confirmed anything as of this point in time, but hopefully it's not too bad. The next one, Martinez went off, and that was even more concerning, but thankfully it just looks like it's a slight problem in his back, and he should be all right. But again, he was limping significantly, which is why Maguire came on for him. And then Maguire came on for Mazraoui, and then Evans came on for Martinez. And then De Ligt got injured, and thankfully for De Ligt's case, it was only cramp. So that's very good news. So That was confirmed by De Ligt himself when he won the Man of the Match award. And so that's important to keep in mind. But Casemiro came on to replace him. It was actually quite funny. Everyone knows what I think about Anthony at this point, but Anthony was due to come on for Amad. And I was like, oh, mate, why are we wasting a sub putting him on for 5 minutes? And then all of a sudden, De Ligt didn't look good. So in the end, he had to go and sit back down because he was the last sub. And Casemiro came on instead to see out the game. And it probably worked out well because he was the one that sort of set up that third goal, which is fantastic. So, look, injuries aren't flash, and it even looked like Maguire had done a groin or a thigh or something when he was on there, and he didn't look comfortable either. So, look, hopefully the injuries aren't coming all to the defence again, because we can't afford that. We can't afford to have injuries as an excuse this year, and hopefully they're all minor complaints, and they'll hopefully all be back for Palace. I'm not expecting many of them to start against Barnsley on Tuesday night. In fact, I would think that game had been earmarked for Maguire and Evans, so hopefully Evans is definitely fit, so hopefully Maguire's all right and they can both get a start out there. Now, another really interesting thing to note, Garnacho liked Ronaldo's thing about Erik ten Hag, and it was also interesting that he was the one that started on the bench. Who knows if that's got anything to do with it? It might be because of the fact that, Ten Hag still wants to make sure that he's definitely the one, everyone knows he's in charge. But that's just an interesting side note. But his celebrations, I liked it. Sat on the advertising board. Amad joined him. I quite like it. It's an iconic celebration. If he keeps that going and he keeps scoring goals, I think we'll all love it as fans. So long may it be. Viva Garnacho. Now, moving ahead to Tuesday night and Barnsley. Now, United have a very big squad. Earlier in the week, they actually updated their Premier League squad list for the season. Now, there's actually 23 players on the list that are over 21. And then, obviously, that excludes the under 21. So some of the names of people that are under 21 that are regularly first-teamers are Toby Collier, Kobe Mainu, Rasmus Højlund, and Alejandro Garnacho. That's 4 extra players. That's 27-player squad already, which, it's still quite bloated. Now, obviously against Barnsley at home, you would expect to see some of the younger players. So on Tuesday night, you are expecting to see the likes of Harry Amass, hopefully starting at left back. At right back, I'm actually not too sure who our right back is, but it wouldn't be surprising if... Reece Bennett is actually on loan, so he's not going to be involved. I'm just looking at the players that potentially might be involved on Tuesday night. The Fletchers, so hopefully they'll be involved. They've been in and around the squad, and hopefully they'll get a run out here. Hopefully we might be able to see Sekou Kone. He might be involved as well, which would be nice. Now, I'm not sure if Martin's transfer from Arsenal's gone through yet, because I don't see him on the actual list of the under-21s, but you would expect him to be on there as well. Also, Ledi Oro is on that list of under-21s as well. So it's a massive squad that we've got. And it definitely needs a little bit more pruning moving forward. That is for sure. Now, honestly, hopefully against Barnsley, we put the youth team out there. Now, some of the other players that are likely to get a start, I would suggest against Barnsley. Surely Altair Bayandere comes in goal. Surely. To get him some minutes playing for United. Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, Rasmus Højlund. This game might still be all a little bit too early for them, so they might miss out. Casemiro probably might start this game, I would imagine, in centre midfield. Wouldn't surprise me if he started along with Toby Collier. I think that'd be a good midfield duo. And then I'd probably think that Garnacho's probably in line to start this game, only because of the fact that he's mainly had substitute appearances so far to start this season. And I think that's a good way of easing him back into the team and hopefully get a few more goals. So look, anything other than a win against Barnsley at home in the Carabao Cup would be disappointing and ramp the pressure right back up on Ten Hag. So hopefully, with a little bit of luck, that isn't the case, and we get another nice routine win. In fact, the best thing about Saturday against Southampton was the fact that it was nice and routine after the penalty. It was a very unstressful game because obviously we scored early and then we scored again pretty much soon after, and then it was just like one of them coasting games. And look, I have to say it because everyone loves having a go at the other teams. Now, all the pressure's been on Ten Hag. And what happened to Liverpool on the weekend? I believe that they lost 1-0 to Forest at home. That was the first time Forest has beaten Liverpool at Anfield, I think since 1955. So, you know, when Ten Hag was losing those records with teams coming to Old Trafford and beating them, well, Arnie Slot's doing it for Liverpool, so it's not all bad news for United anymore. Also, it was quality to see Spurs lose again, like, even though, you know, it's just funny seeing Spurs. Like, they dominate so much of the game, they just don't know how to win. And they're very Spursy, aren't they? Like, it's always funny to see them lose. So there were some interesting results in the Premier League on the weekend, so that was also very interesting to see. And United now have gone up the table, so we've actually gone up quite a significant amount compared to the previous weeks, where I think we're like 13th, 14th or something like that prior to the international break after that second loss in 3 games to Liverpool. But we are now, in fact, actually after the Sunday night games where Newcastle and and Arsenal won, United have sadly dropped to 10th. So we're 10th on 6 points. How many points are we off the top 4? Only 1 game now. Liverpool occupy the 4th spot and they're on 9 points. So we're only a game behind them now. So that's really good news. And so we haven't completely lost touch. I mean, Man City are just doing their own thing at the top, which is just hard to believe that they're sitting there at the top. But look, hopefully, we can continue on our merry way, getting our wins, and hopefully it's a stress-free week. As I said, this game should be a gimme on Tuesday night. I'll be getting up. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. You'd like to hope it's going to be nice and routine. If I sit there and we lose, I'm not going to be happy. But that's the lot of the life of the United fan living in Australia. And then obviously next weekend we do have Palace. So we've got the late kickoff, which is the 12:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning here, but it's actually the 5:30 p.m. in the UK. So we travelled down to Palace. Now, last year we lost 4-0. You can only hope that we have built on, hopefully we're going to have, the result we've had on the weekend. Hopefully we can build on that and turn that into a run. Ten Hag needs to turn that into a run. As much as it's been great, the win to like this weekend, he really does need to kick on, get back into those, hammering those tactics that he wants to play into his players so they know where to go when they're playing. And hopefully, we'll get the result on Tuesday and then we can look ahead with some much needed anticipation and hopefully some form behind us. And hopefully we can go and correct that result from last year where we lost 4-0 away at Palace. We can only hope that this year we see a reversal. It'd be nice to beat a team 4-0. That's the next step. That was the one other disappointing thing that I didn't like in the game, was that, the game was won at halftime. I really wanted, and Southampton knew it. They didn't offer anything in the second half at all. And I really wanted us to just push on and take the game to them. But alas, we just sort of eased off a bit, but it would have been great to see us win the game 4-0. We haven't done it under Ten Hag, so hopefully it's not too far away. You can definitely see signs of improvement. There's signs of life, and that's what I'll leave you with at the end of this episode. Nice and short and sharp, just reflecting on the game. I think there's definitely things to work on still, which I think any supporter would definitely think that. And, there are the camp of people that would, it was annoying, that were hoping that Southampton scored that penalty because they're over Ten Hag and they don't think it's going anywhere. And look, it still may not go anywhere with Ten Hag. But at the moment, he's got that relief. He needs to make the most of that relief, embed his tactics, get them sorted, and make sure that in the Premier League, we're just that much more consistent. It was a good win away from home, but it needs to be a consistent thing. We can't just sit there and have the one good game away from home and then the next week we lose again. So hopefully it's a run and hopefully the start of better things to come. Thanks for joining us, and tune in for my review of the Barnsley game later in the week as I look ahead to the Crystal Palace game. Thanks for joining. That's the D Unit.